Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to episode 113.
213.
230.
213. 213 of Dude and a Monkey. Where's the time gone? My name is Ian Marc. As always, I am joined by...
Mark Foster, hello everybody.
And as more often than not over the last little while, we're also joined by...
Noel Mellor, hello.
Hey! So, this week, you're going to hear Noel do vocal hate as we talk about Transformers The Last Night. The aspect ratio shifting Michael Bay fuck-a-thon, which is going to be quite the discussion. We'll also talk some what else we've been watching. I think Mark and I will probably do some Twin Peaks, which Noel doesn't have to stay around for. So, because he will not have a fucking clue.
No.
I barely have a fucking clue. So, God knows what Noel would think, but we'll let him breeze by at that point. But yeah. So let's start off then. So has anything happened in the movie world this week that we want to talk about? Obviously, it was a big week last week with Last Jedi stuff. Ron Howard confirmed. Safe pair of hands. I'm hoping he brings some of that visual invention from Inferno. We shall see. But anything beyond that this week?
I don't think so. No, it's been a bit of a quiet week, hasn't it?
There's been a bit of elaboration on that story, but it's not really that much, is it? It's just kind of, rumours about where it came from, and Engelbert Urbandink is the one who's kind of alerted Disney to problems with the shoot, and then there's Kathleen Kennedy was bringing in, actor training because she wasn't happy with his performance. It's just more upon more speculation, really, isn't it? So that seems to have dominated.
One thing I will say, The Accountant is getting a sequel.
Yeah, I saw that.
Now, did you see The Accountant, Mark?
I didn't. You told me that it was not worth rushing to watch, but if I got to it, it's not awful, but it's not good. I think was your exact words.
Yeah. Did you watch it at all, Noel?
I didn't. It does seem like the type of thing that when I see it pop up, I'll watch. So yeah, I'll definitely get to it.
It's 100% a Netflix or Amazon Prime watch.
Yeah, I think I'd have watched it if it was 100. I'd have already watched it if it was 118 minutes rather than 128 minutes, which I know is 10 minutes, but still, anything where it goes, as it says, over 2 hours at the moment, which makes me go, not sure about that.
Yeah, I mean, I watched 45 minutes of it on an exercise bike, and, so I think that's kind of the only way I kind of did watch it, because it was like, I'd watched the first half hour, and it was like, right, I've got to do some exercise, I'll watch it on the exercise bike, and then I kind of polished it off. It's like one where, if you're doing it in 40 or so minute chunks, or something like that, then fine. It's just, like, I don't know, like, sequels no one asked for was a bit of a trend. I think maybe, I'm thinking like The Huntsman Winter's War.
It's becoming a bit of a trend, because you've also got the Pitch Perfect 3 movie that nobody really gives a fuck about.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a few, like Horrible Bosses 2.
Johnny English 3, is it?
Yeah, Johnny English 3 is coming. Yeah, I mean, it's like, how I don't get how film studios are just like, I need some of that hot accountant money.
I mean, it didn't even. It's not like it was like a sleeper hit or anything like that. It did all right. It didn't lose money. It made a bit of money, but it didn't off a budget like 50 million. Didn't make like 350, 400 million.
What's the Ben Affleck situation with this? Is he coming back to this?
He's back, and so is Gavin O'Connor. Like, it's properly like the key creative folks are back.
So what was Ben Affleck's involvement outside of that? He didn't do any writing or anything like that. He was just
it was essentially a paid gig.
because that's it. It's you feel a little bit at the moment like Ben Affleck maybe needs to make some careful choices at the moment, and The Accountant 2 doesn't feel that inspired. It's almost like, Justice League's coming up, so he needs to get his blockbuster game back on. Hopefully that's going to set him on track with that. But after Live by Night, you almost feel like he should be doing something a bit more worthy.
No, for
Just
sure.
seems like an odd choice.
Yeah, no, I mean, $44 million budget, it made $155 million worldwide. It was in the black.
Yeah.
But, that kind of just feels like, thanks very much, guys, let's move on with our lives.
Mm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to say too much about the film because you guys haven't seen it, and there are some twisty kind of things in there. And if a particular character is also back, then I'm gonna be more into it. Well, fuck it, John Bernthal. If he's back, then I'm all over it. I kind of would rather see him be the lead, frankly. But yeah, I don't know. It's film financing's a weird thing, man. Like the weird pieces that came together in order to bring us The Accountant 2. But then again, it's like it's a mid-budget original studio film getting a sequel. Mate, why am I decrying that? That kind of sounds like something that maybe it would be nice if we had more of.
Absolutely.
It's just unexpected, I think, isn't it? That's the main thing.
Mm.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's a strange one because it wasn't like it was critically acclaimed or anything like that. It just seems a little bit like there's nobody asking for it. Whereas I think with something like the Jack Reacher one, a lot of people were asking for a Jack Reacher sequel. We got one and it wasn't great, but a lot of people were asking for it. Whereas everyone's like, really? The Accountant sequel? Okay.
That was a shitty fucking film. Was Jack Reacher Never Go Back? Like,
yeah, I might not heed its advice, and I might go back and give it a rewatch because, yeah, I really enjoyed the first one. The second one was just a big old box of disappointment because it was a 12 fucking A.
Well, yeah, that's right. The first one was a 15. Yeah.
This was a 15. Yeah, it should have been a 12A either. It body slams somebody into breaking their neck.
Straight up. Yeah. Okay, so let's do some trailers. What have we got? Anyone for anything?
There's the
Great Showman, the P.T. Barnum, Hugh Jackman movie with Zac Efron.
It looks like a 2.5 hour post-Christmas, pre-New Year, sit there almost asleep for 2.5 hours and have an acceptable time.
Yeah, it does. Yes, it does scream acceptable time, doesn't it?
Mm.
It looks like if it gets really good reviews, it might catch a little bit of a crystal wave. If not, it'll just kind of tick along nicely.
Yeah, we'll see.
What else have I caught? Oh, I did watch the Pitch Perfect 3 trailer.
How'd you do that?
Because I hate myself, clearly. Why? I mean, Pitch Perfect. I think Pitch Perfect was all right. It was actually surprisingly entertaining. The sequel was god awful, and this just looks even worse.
Yeah, there is a market for it, though, isn't there? I mean, I don't know how well the last one did, but didn't it do pretty well?
It did all right. It did quite well.
These can't cost that much to make, really.
No,
it feels like they fill a void.
Yeah, the soundtracks make.
Yeah,
well, don't they?
Yeah. So I can see why they're making it. My question is, why Anna Kendrick goes back to them? I would have thought by the third one,
paycheck.
We would have. Well, yeah, but I would have thought by this point it would have, Cruel Intentions 2 kind of thing, and the background characters creep to the front, and I can see why Rebel Wilson needs to do it, but we've got Anna Kendrick, Haley Steinfeld. I don't know why they're there, really.
Well, Pitch Perfect cost 17 million and made 115 million. Pitch Perfect 2 cost 30 million and made just shy of 300 million. So that's the reason why they're...
hell.
Yeah. Funny enough, Elizabeth Banks is back in this one. She's producing it, but she's not directing it. No, she's not directing this one.
Yeah,
fair play to her for fucking stepping up and directing that second one, by the way.
Yeah.
Because I think, if I remember correctly, they had a director and the director dropped out and she was ever so slightly last-minuted into it. I might be wrong, but I swear there was something like that, and good on her.
Yeah, because I think, wasn't that like her first directorial debut?
I'm pretty sure it was her directorial debut. Like, she did a short film in that fucking movie 43.
Yeah.
But then did this,
God, yeah. That was terrible, that film. What else to watch?
That's literally the first time I've heard anybody mention that film since the week it came out.
That was fucking awful. I got through that movie by getting really fucking drunk during it.
That film was so fucking weird though. The fact that like the kind of the framing stuff in between the short films was different depending on whether you watched the UK or the US version.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Like the US one, I think, like there was someone pretty big in the framing bit in the US one, and it was like it was some weird like marketing meeting or something, and they were like trying to sell products or some bollocks. And then the UK one was like some kids looking through YouTube videos or something. Yeah, I don't know. That whole fucking situation was mental.
It was a really fucking weird, terrible but weird movie. Watched the trailer for Bad Moms Christmas.
Yeah.
Talking of sequels that nobody asked for and nobody wants. Amanda, you two watch the trailer for this?
I'm gonna go watch this. I liked Bad Moms.
I didn't dislike Bad Moms, but it literally seems like they've just taken Bad Moms and then they've just gone, right, can we just put some in post, can we just put some Christmas decorations up and have them mention Christmas every 3 minutes and then we'll just release it as a new movie?
The thing is, I do like a Christmas movie.
I love
and any new Christmas movies, I'm prepared to give a go. The last Bad Moms movie didn't bother me as much as the marketing for the last Bad Moms movie. So the marketing
I know that I'm
watching
it and going, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
What else have I watched this week, trailer-wise? Stronger, the Jake Gyllenhaal Boston Marathon bombing one by David Gordon Green. You not seen this?
I don't even know anything about that. That sounds interesting.
David Gordon Green has done a film with Jake Gyllenhaal about the Boston Marathon bombings.
Wow.
Which set along against one guy who has his legs blown off, essentially. And it's about him trying to actually just kind of get some semblance of his life back, and they're all trying to treat him as like a poster boy for his area, and he isn't quite sure about it. And yeah, it looks very much like it's going to be Gyllenhaal on top form again, like he is fucking all the time at the moment.
This is a real person, is it?
Yeah.
Based on right, okay.
Yeah.
So this is playing it a little bit more for the awards crowd than Patriots Day did, then.
I think this is more. And Patriots Day did try to play it for the awards, but just kind of missed it by being a little bit too much America.
Yeah.
Whereas this is, it's a David.
It's an overcoming story as well, isn't it? So that's just going to play a little bit more. Yeah.
It's a little bit more small town. It could end up being Gyllenhaal's first Oscar movie. Yeah, certainly.
And then he's doing the Halloween film, so that's quite the change of pace.
Yeah.
I love it.
That guy's fucking CV is great.
Yep.
Who, Gyllenhaal?
David Gordon Green.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, from like All the Real Girls.
I fucking love it. Jake Gyllenhaal was in a new Halloween film. Fuck me.
Yeah. In fact, the only thing I think I haven't liked of David Gordon Green's stuff is Prince Avalanche. That's about it, really. You quite like that, didn't you, Ian?
Yeah, I did. Funnily enough, George Washington I wasn't that big on. That was his first fucking film.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah. I didn't mind that.
It was alright, but...
George, what I hold higher than I probably really, really probably should.
The Sitter?
Yeah.
The Sister's all right, man.
I liked it. I really liked it.
I think I had a good time with that, yeah.
It's got a fucking great soundtrack as well.
Just on the topic of Jake Gyllenhaal, though, I noticed this week that Netflix has got the Dan Gilroy movie that Jake Gyllenhaal and Dan Gilroy, so the director of what's it called, Nightcrawler. So Netflix have won that, and apparently they dug deep into their pockets for it as well.
All over it.
Yeah, that'll do me. Fucking love Nightcrawler.
Yeah,
I fucking love Netflix.
Yeah,
they're not killing cinema. They're letting people make shit they want to fucking make.
Yeah, and they're putting it in my house.
Yeah,
which is the important thing. For £6 a month, I have nothing to complain about Netflix. Sorry,
that's it. The amazing thing is they're doing stuff like saying to Scorsese, how much do you need to make The Irishman? I need about 120. If we give you 150, you'd be able to do it then.
Yeah.
I said 120. We want to be sure though. Okay. and then I their pitch was, look, we've got loads of money, just have some.
And then I phone them up and I say, oh, hi, is that Netflix? Can I speak to Netflix? And they say yes. And I say, yeah, I heard you're getting the new Martin Scorsese movie, and also you're doing the new Defenders TV series, and there's like a new episode of there's a new series of House of Cards and stuff like that. And I was just wondering, can I pre-order it, or do I need to? How much is it going to cost? And they, no, it's covered. No, it's all right. I'm only on the $6.99 package. Oh no, it's fine. It's covered by that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine.
It really is staggering how good value Netflix is.
Incredible.
It's madness because.
Oh, and by the way, sir, do you know you can download them all to your phone so you can watch it on the Oh, right. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, that's it. The amazing thing is
torrenting app. Thank you.
Yeah, you don't need it because we can all watch a brand new Boom Jim Hall film tonight if we wanted to for a part of our $6.99 a month.
It's incredible.
Yeah. It's insane.
Bless them, I say.
Yeah. Other than that, that's it for me for trailers. Oh no, the Thank You for Your Service, a film that's getting a little bit of good press and everything, but I have a feeling that Ian, if he hasn't already seen the trailer, when he's watching the trailer, will be sat there going, fuck off. Fuck off. Fuck off. All the way through.
Tell me why now.
Because, right, it's set in the current Gulf conflict.
Right.
Stars are actually Miles Teller, yeah. And looks quite good. Looks, good.
Stars who, sorry?
Miles Teller.
Right.
Looks quite good. He plays essentially, he's one of the guys who drives around the Humvee looking for IUDs, and it's about how, not how he can't come to terms with coming back, it's about how people keep on saying they need him out there, and he keeps having to go back because he's the best at what he does. And it's written by, and it's produced by, and they make quite a big deal of it in the trailer, the people who made American Sniper.
Wow, this is going to be a treat.
So that means I'm going to enjoy it, and Ian's going to hate it and think it's racist.
Yeah, the thing is, it actually...
No, American Sniper's not racist, it's just inspiring countless young men who are maybe not as well educated as the American system should do so, sending them into the battlefield for them to just get killed. That's all, American Sniper, it's actually lethal. That's all.
The other one I did watch was American Assassin, which has got that Dylan... What's his name? Is it O'Brien?
Him from the Maze Runner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who actually looks like he could make a proper fucking badass action hero, which I never thought I'd say.
That's funny what a serious injury resulting from an incident with a car can do to you.
Yeah, but that he looks good. That looks entertaining. And it's got Michael Keaton in it.
I'm more into that than Thank You for Your Service.
you will hate the trailer for that, man.
So hang on, what? So like they're saying you're too good at finding IEDs, so we need you to go back.
Yeah.
Does it explain in the trailer why he's so good at it?
No.
I quite like to. I want to watch it because I want to find out what makes him really good at searching for IEDs. Like, because I don't know, it kind of seems like American Sniper. Like, fair play, that film is fucking offensive to me, but sniping is a fucking shitstorm of a skill. That is incredible. Like, just being able to do that, fair fucking play. Finding IEDs. How do they do that then?
Well, it'll explain it. It's actually it's not only written by the guy who wrote American Sniper. It's also directed by him as well.
Oh, great!
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to that.
I didn't know he also wrote Paranoia, that not Chris Hemsworth movie that everyone forgot about.
Yeah.
And he also wrote the David Mackenzie, Ashton Kutcher, and Hesh film Spread, which I think I am the only person who's seen that.
Ashton Kutcher. David Mackenzie, him who did Young Adam.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, Young Adam Hallam 4. He did and
Perfect
Hell
Sense.
High Water. Yeah. Yeah, he made a film called Spread, starring Ashton Kutcher and Anne Hesh, where Ashton Kutcher plays essentially like a young kind of like playboy who all he basically does is he jumps from one rich, bored, middle-aged woman to another, and basically just moves in with them and takes them for all they can get, and then jumps on to the next one.
Interesting.
It's fairly amusing, but probably thoroughly not worth your time.
Okay,
That's what I'd say.
enough.
Spread, a movie that I enjoyed that's thoroughly not worth anybody's time.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I fucking hate American Sniper. You've really brought me down now.
I'm sorry.
That fucking... Nobody hates that film as much as I do.
No, that's true.
And it's like... How do I show people?
I'm imagining now a thank you for your service poster that just says, "Fuck you, American Sniper. Ian Marc, doing the monkey."
Yeah, that'd be fine. That'd be fine. The thing is, if thank you for your service doesn't inspire people to go and get themselves killed, then it will be better than American Sniper. You know, fuck me. Anyway, right. I just realised I'm steering the ship.
You're steering the ship as well.
Transformers. It's the last night. It's directed by Michael Bay. It stars Mark Wahlberg. Anthony, get out of my way, you fat bastard Hopkins. Laura Haddock.
I just remembered that bit.
Sorry?
I just remembered that bit. There is only one director working today of like big budget movies that just wouldn't give a shit about having that in his movie.
It's just, oh God, I wish I could do the voice. It's just amazing.
Hang on a minute, you're the one who lives in Wales. Surely you're the most equipped to do an Anthony Hopkins impersonation.
On paper, yes. No, God, Donna hates it when I try and do it.
Yeah, do you like lose your Valley card if you're English and try and do a Welsh accent in Wales?
I barely have a fucking Valley card, mate. I tell you what, I have to go into hiding whenever there's a fucking rugby match on. Jesus Christ.
See, I only do one Anthony Hopkins impersonation, and it's just one line from Thor, and that's "But you're not king." That's the only thing I can do.
Yes.
But you're not
solid.
king.
He does another one in the Dark World as well. It almost feels like he's trying to replicate it, but just can't quite do it. I can't remember what that line is. Oh,
yeah,
fuck.
I know what you mean.
But I don't ever want to watch the Dark World again, though. That's the thing. So,
has anybody Googled IMDb? Has anybody Googled Transformers 5 and then clicked on the IMDb link?
No.
And just try that little journey.
Is it a gif of Anthony Hopkins going, "Get out of my way, you fat bastard"?
I wish it was. No, it's like a sort of skinned version of IMDb that's also wrapped in Transformers-ness. But then at the top, there's a sort of showcase of characters where when you click on one of them, it brings you through to a screen of sort of like another showcase. And then as you click on each character, they do that walking towards the screen and stopping thing like you get on Premiership games.
Oh God, it does, yeah.
Do they cross their arms?
One of them does, yeah. Which one?
No way, really? Brilliant.
Yeah, like they all do a little thing like that, but it just feels like a sort of shit. Yeah.
Oh, that's bad.
Like Bumblebee does the crossed arms thing. Ugh, it's crummy. Pretty crummy.
So I reeled off 3 people who are in it, but I think we could probably end it there. What's the story? That's a question.
Bumblebee just crossed his arms.
Oh, and Stanley Tucci as Merlin, by the way, remember that. Which is one of the greatest on-screen credits of all time. So, the Transformers have, even though it kind of seems like in the first film it's the first time anyone's ever seen them, it turns out that they've been around for fucking ages.
Yeah.
They were around during the time of King Arthur. Actually, to be fair, in Age of Extinction at the start, it's like, well, they caused the death of the dinosaurs?
Yeah.
So, there's that. And Bumblebee helped in World War II, apparently. So, the story. Optimus Prime, at the end of Age of Extinction, he's gone off to find his maker and kick their ass.
Excellent plan.
Yes.
Sorry,
his maker is a Roman called Quintessa, I believe, who turns him evil. And then he's not in it for about 2 hours. And then, while that's happening, Earth has gone anti-Autobot. The Decepticons are kind of there. Galvatron's turned himself back into Megatron, even though it seemed like not many people knew that Galvatron was Megatron. Or maybe they did.
Just accept it now, yeah.
Just accept it. He's changed his appearance. He doesn't have that big hole in him anymore. And Wahlberg is on the run. And his daughter's in college, so that she doesn't have to be in this one. And some stuff happens where things occur. And then Anthony Hopkins gets involved. And Laura Haddock gets involved. And then they go underwater for a bit. And then they go up in the sky for a bit. And then it ends.
Yeah.
And I didn't hate it. But Noel did. Noel.
Right, well, where to start? Well, if you'll indulge me a little later on when we get a bit deeper into it, I'll explain to you why this is so disjointed from everything, and the problems that I have with it on a sort of fan level in relation to what the story of the Transformers is and is supposed to be. But primarily, no pun intended, primarily the issue with this film is that most of the things in it don't make sense. It's basically a long list of things that don't make sense. Now, for some reason, the Transformers films, I'm a huge Transformers fan, loved them as a kid, read the comic books religiously as a kid, carried on reading them into sort of young adulthood, and then it was the first Transformers film that sort of made me lose interest in a little bit, because it just didn't feel like Transformers to me. So over the years, I've kind of checked in with them, but rather half-heartedly, and I've not really been that bothered. Recently, I started rereading not just the original UK and US comics, but through a subscription service that I'm signed up to. I actually started reading a lot of the stories that I'd never read, so the IDW universe and the more modern take on the characters that have been, that have continued long after the comics that I read all those years ago died. So I had a sort of renewed interest in Transformers, and I'd heard that there was a certain character from Transformers, the 1986 animated movie, that was going to be appearing in this. And the notion of seeing that character on the big screen, that character being Unicron, really made me sort of interested again. And then I'd seen a trailer and I thought, you know what, I don't get to the cinema very often these days. It'd be good to go and just have a nice, fun time watching it. Unfortunately, these films tend not to be that much of a fun time. It's like, have you heard of the phrase, I'm here for a good time, not a long time?
Yes.
Because these films are basically the opposite of that. They're not pleasant, and they go on for too long, and they massively overcomplicate things that should be actually quite simple. So it's frustrating because you sat there. I didn't have too much of a problem while I was watching it because I was drinking Coca-Cola and eating Haribo, and I was just going along with it. But then afterwards, the reality of everything that you've just seen sinks in, and you go, none of that made sense. None of the connective tissue in that plot made does a long list of things that just do not make any sense, from tiny little things like Bumblebee's voice box to much deeper things about the timeline of the actual Transformers and where they're supposedly from and where they've been all this time, kind of, and how that's been covered up. It's just, there's just so much that doesn't make sense. So it's a bad film. It really is. I'll talk a bit more about it on a sort of, again, if you'll indulge me, I'll talk a bit more about how this continuity is just fucking is a debacle. But in terms of what I thought of the film, it's a bad film. It's a bad film. It's the second worst of the bunch for me. The second one was the worst by far. But this one is the second worst of the bunch.
Mark?
Yeah, well, I mean, I watched Age of Extinction this morning and then went to watch The Last Night this afternoon. So I've had a lot of transforming done to me.
I thought I'd had a bad day. Fuck me.
It's a fucking mess. There's no reason why it should be 2.5 hours long. I don't know why about halfway through it becomes the Da Vinci Code for a little bit.
Yeah, that's a very good point. It
proves that Michael Bay doesn't give a fuck about whether or not these are A, make sense, B, good movies. I'll wait a bet Michael Bay hasn't actually read a script for any of the Transformers movies since the first one. He's just kind of skimmed it and gone, blah, blah, blah. I get the gist. Yeah, it should be fine. It doesn't make sense. It bounds from one set piece that's the same as the last one to the next. It's just a little bit crap, but I didn't hate my time with it. I was bored a little bit during it, but not as bored as somebody else that was in my screening because 2 people fell asleep in the screen I was in. But yeah, it was just a little bit. It just doesn't really make sense. And I know that it doesn't need to make sense because it's a Transformers movie. But it needs to make a little bit more sense than this one does.
It's the disconnect between the simplicity of the story and how little it makes sense that makes it such a fucking mind fuck of a bad film.
Yeah, there's so many bits in it where you don't need them. And the thing is,
you don't need the first hour. The first hour of the film is completely irrelevant.
You need Drunk Merlin. I'm sorry, you need Drunk Merlin.
Drunk Merlin's fine. Yeah. Well, actually, the thing is, I was worried at the minute it opened. I thought, "Oh, we got the Knights fucking round table bullshit. Oh, I'm not gonna like this." And then Drunk Merlin kind of pulled it back a little bit. But even that, there again, is Michael Bay proving that he just doesn't give a shit.
It's just like the Tooch. He was literally in the last one.
Yeah.
And there he is back again, but this time he's playing Merlin. Like, fine.
It's almost like they had him under contract to do the next one, and he went, "I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it." And Bay's gone, "Look, if you're just in it, you've got to say some lines because you've got to, and then we'll call it okay. Okay, right, fine. Just put me in it. I want to play Merlin. That's fine. You can play Merlin.
I think
I want to play drunk."
I think he genuinely likes Bay, though. I think a lot of actors do. Like, John Turturro doesn't have to be in this. But
he gets some cheap coke, doesn't he, basically? That's probably what it is.
It could well be. But I mean, like, John Turturro, he does not have to be in this, and he's in it. I can't imagine he was paid too much for what he was doing there. It kind of just feels like it was like, yeah, I'll fuck about on set for a couple of days with you. Why not? You know, and I don't know.
The John Turturro bit was, I'll be in it, but can you just pay for me to go to Cuba for like 2 weeks and just film it there? Yeah. And Bay's gone, yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm not going to be there. I'll send some second unit. I reckon Bay is the most second unity director in the world.
But what else does he do then?
I reckon he just goes. He goes, right. Is this the scene where she's walking in the tight dress? Yeah, I'll direct this one.
He sets up a shot where it looks like a music video from 1991, and then he just fucking says, "Right, I've got the shot. Now take it to the CG department and smash. I don't care what the plot is. Just make the shiny robot smash." And that's all he does.
Yeah, it is a bit. It's very, very like that. It's a little bit. Except I didn't.
We've got 1 hour to shoot each day between the hour of 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock when the sun goes down. I'll get as much in the camera as I can then, and then you take it away and put shiny robots on it. That's what Michael Bay does.
I think he's got an eye. That's the thing, though. Like
he does at some points.
I agree.
There's some nice shots.
It's clear that he cares about. It's clear that he cares about his shot. But it feels like that's the only thing that he's concerned about in this is setting up a shot. There's no consideration of how, well, there's no consideration of story or how a story comes together or character or it's just not there.
Apologies. Thank you, baby. Thank you very much, Lots. Lottie just brought me a beer up. That's how it works. Nice one, thanks, Tom. Yeah, no, I mean, I understand that, but it's... I can't believe I'm bloody defending him. Like, it's so weird. But, I mean, the difference between this and Transformers 2, where it was just...
Is it makes more sense? That's the crazy thing.
The action makes more sense.
Yeah.
The plot probably makes less sense. And I think the key... is that with Transformers 3, that was a film that was like right in the height of 3D at the cinema, and he had to fucking learn that he couldn't just cut every 2 seconds because otherwise it would make audiences throw up with 3D. So with Transformers 3, there's a lot of wide shot and long shots happening. And I think he's brought that to 4 and 5 as well. And it's not... I agree it's boring in places, and it's because the plot doesn't make any sense. You've got nothing to hang your hat on for huge chunks of this film. But I think the action is really well choreographed, and I enjoyed my time watching that stuff. But that first hour is completely pointless apart from Drunk Merlin, I agree. Like, all that stuff in that junkyard.
Yeah. And the problem with that is, like, I'm not coming to, as I say, I'm not coming to Transformers. I'm not stupid enough to come to Transformers 5 and think that I'm going to get a really strong plot. All I want is a little bit of a reference to the characters that I know, some semblance of a plot, and then smashy robots. I'll be perfectly happy with that. But what you actually get, I mean, there's the opening battle scene, which I actually quite liked, and the Merlin stuff at the beginning, which I actually quite liked. But then you end up in the city, in the smashed up city, and you're introduced to some kids, and at first you're like, oh, right, are we going to follow these kids around for a bit? And then those kids introduce you to another character, that the young girl, and then she's established as a hero, and then for the next hour you've got her making her way to Mark Wahlberg's hiding place, the place where he's hiding, and is so secret that he can't speak on the phone when he's talking to his daughter, but yet when the feds want to find him, they know exactly where to look.
Because they put a fucking tracker on him. It's like he doesn't, like on Bumblebee, he doesn't even think about that occurring.
Aside from the fact that there's giant robot dinosaurs throwing each other around in the fucking in the middle of a, I'm sure it wouldn't be that difficult to locate them.
Yeah.
But the point is, you get that first hour where you're setting up all that stuff, and who is this character, and what's her relationship with Mark Wahlberg going to be, and is she going to come through? Is she going to be the one who comes through in the end? Is she going to be our sort of, not final girl, but somebody who does something really important at the end of the movie? And then suddenly Mark Wahlberg basically gets a phone call and has to fuck off to London, and it's like, all right, bye, see you later, and then that's her gone. So you've got Prime's disappeared for a good long time. You've got this girl that we've just had an entire setup for no reason whatsoever. And then, the adventure can start over in London with all this Merlin-related stuff, and this woman that we've not met until an hour and 20 minutes into the film, who's supposedly connected to this Merlin staff. It's just, they've taken the same mechanic of having one thing that everybody has to get and wrapped this really convoluted thing around it and wasted an hour getting you to that point. Like, what was the point in that?
Well, that's it. There wasn't. It was just. It's like they don't get that they could make as good a, if not better, movie be 2 hours long.
Mm.
It doesn't. It just doesn't. It doesn't make sense.
I don't know why they set up that whole thing about Mark Wahlberg is in the destroyed city doing some stuff. There's no point for any of that. Then he goes back to this junkyard, and there's the whole section. We don't need any of that. There's the introduction of that character and her relationship with him. We don't need any of that.
And his employee as well, who is set up and just disappears. No.
All we need to do is say, right, after the events of the last film, Mark Wahlberg is in hiding. He's taking the Transformers out to somewhere, and then he gets this call. Anthony Hopkins gets in touch via Cogman, for fuck's sake. And then we have to start the adventure in London. Like, that's all we need. That just get us there.
I mean, and to be fair, I do think that energy levels pick up when Anthony Hopkins is on screen.
He's the only good thing. Yeah, he was great.
I mean, like, he genuinely looks like he's having the best time. Just completely, I'm going to take my paycheck.
He loves a paycheck, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, he does. I mean, like, there's one shot in this film that had me fucking howling, where he's in that car with Cogman, and they're speeding along, and Cogman's, like, singing, like, yo, bitch, get out my way, and Hopkins is just laughing. And it's just, like, the sheer... What the fuck is this?
Yeah, the Cogman character is a strange character.
And also him playing the score on that organ, and like they do that joke and then they repeat it again 30 seconds later. That was almost a stand up and clap moment for me. It's just Bay, like you say, gives zero fucks
I think I'd go even further. I think he actively is now looking at these movies and going, wonder what I could get away with. Wonder what I could do that would just piss people off.
Well, that's working.
But I would say that there is less of the, and I'm the more socially conservative of me and Mark, but there's less of the pervy stuff.
Well, that's just a fucking travesty.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so because it was aggressively like, look at her ass, look at those tits for a while there. I mean, the introduction of Rosie Huntington-Whiteley in the third one, the first shot of her character is literally her ass.
Yeah.
Well,
that was a very clear middle finger that to what's her face, wasn't it? Though.
Oh, to Fox.
To Fox, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean,
I almost forgave it for that, like, because it felt a little bit like it was a genuine sort of like, "Fuck you, now I've got this to play with." Which is a terrible message. But...
Yeah, and also, I mean, frankly, he's too old to be fucking doing that kind of stuff. I'm sorry. Like, Michael Bay, he's got to be in his late 40s, early 50s.
52.
There you go. All right, there you go. So, I don't know. And the thing is, the casting of this girl in this film, if they did any of that with a girl who looked that young, I mean, he was already skating on thin ice with that Romeo and Juliet lore thing in the fourth one, which is just cast a girl who looks a bit older.
Like, that's another example of why do I need that in my space alien robots movie? Like, why do I need? I don't understand. Like, you know, all right, I get that Mark Wahlberg's the protective dad, but why do I need the hero to prove himself to the dad so that he can sleep with the underage girl? Why is that part of my Transformers movie when, like, there are so many other interesting things that I could have in my Transformers movie? It's just not necessary.
I mean, let's just call an apple here. I mean, like, this film, you would think would be designed for kids around Charlie's age or a bit older.
Mm.
Yeah.
Disregarding the length, talking more the action on screen and the, like, that kind of stuff. Like, versus, say, Revenge of the Fallen or Dark of the Moon, would you feel any more comfortable showing Charlie this compared to some of the earlier ones?
Comfortable's got nothing to do with it. I'd be perfectly happy for him to see what is in this. The problem that I've got is he'd get bored because he wouldn't know what the fuck was going on. He simply would not understand what was happening in front of him.
No, I mean,
we've watched the 1986 movie together before, and I've had to sort of explain a few little things and stuff like that, but there's no clear path, there's no journey of, like, even characters just flow in and flow out, and there's an hour passes between them being, you know, here and not here, so it wouldn't make sense to him.
Yeah, no, it's fair enough. I mean, I suppose, like, but I mean, like, Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, you've got the bit with, like, the swinging robot bollocks and, you know, Megan Fox, like, draped over a motorcycle and stuff like that. It just...
Yeah.
Because it's interesting, the Bumblebee spin-off that's coming out next year, they've already said it's going to be aimed at a younger audience. It's being directed by Travis Knight, who did Kubo and the Two Strings, which is a weird fucking Kubo and the Two Strings to the Bumblebee film. But, like, that already feels like a film that might be like, well, Lottie's going to be 4 by then, and maybe...
Absolutely. I'm interested... Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, I mean, The Last Night, I mean, any of the Transformers films other than the first one, and maybe not the first one because I haven't seen it for a while, but that's the only one I think would possibly appeal to what you would imagine the target audience of these films would be.
Yeah, well, there's a little bit of Spielberg in there and to keep to keep it grounded. I think that's why the first one works more as a coherent sort of thing.
Yeah, agreed. But sorry, you were going to say?
Yeah, I mean, there's a glimmer. There is a glimmer of hope in hearing that the next one is going to be set in the 80s, and it's just going to be a little bit more focused on it's going to be focused on Bumblebee and what he was up to in the 1980s and stuff like that. That gives me more. The fact that it's directed by somebody different, and it's somebody who's got an acclaimed animated movie with a story attached to it under their belt, that fills me with that makes me more and more interested in it. The problem that I've got is so much damage has been done to this franchise by Michael Bay that there's so much. I don't know. Unfortunately, these films keep making money, so Michael Bay keeps getting invited back, and every time he comes back, we get further and further away from any kind of coherent universe or any chance that these are ever going to be the kind of Transformers films that fans of the series will like or even recognize as being their own. Because every time he steps in, he genuinely ruins something. So in this case, you've got characters that are completely ruined. So Hot Rod, for example, is a much loved character in the Transformers universe, and he has a very clear story arc over his time. He's young, he's hot-headed, and then he learns the power of leadership, and in later stories, Prime takes him under his wing and teaches him what it is to be, the greatest Autobot, and to always think pragmatically and not think with your head, think about, almost in that sort of needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few kind of thing. There's a very good, strong arc with that character. But here it's just like, he's a Lamborghini and he's French. So it's like, well, that's not. What do you mean French? How is he French? He's a fucking robot from outer space.
I think quite literally it's because at one point he was an old Citroen.
He went to right.
That was that because I thought, why is he French? He's a Citroen.
Well, again, why was he a Citroen and why is he a Lamborghini? He's called Hot Rod. He should be a Hot Rod.
Yeah. I'm not saying it makes sense.
No, I know. Starscream, his head was back in this at some point. That's a character that's got a really strong storyline to him. He's the sort of leader in waiting who's been trying to sort of oust his leader, and he's always up to something in the background. They've never really managed to capitalize on that, and yet at some point, Megatron is holding his head in this film and says, Starscream, my treacherous friend, or something like that. And it's like, based on what? He's not done anything. So every time Bay steps back into this universe, he sort of ruins something that can't then be picked up further down the line. And the big one in this film is Unicron. So now Unicron is planet Earth.
When you because you WhatsApped us saying that you were interested in one character, and when I was walking out of it, I was like, out of interest, what character was it? And I thought you were going to say like Quintessa or something. It was like, okay, well, it's got like a role in the film, fair enough. You said Unicron, I was like, right, I'm not going to say anything. I was just thinking he's going to be fucking fuming. Like
it was ridiculous. So, right, this is, if you don't mind, just let me give you this little breakdown here. So,
yeah, please do.
Basically, the original, the origins of the Transformers in the US comic book, that was originally, they were like an evolutionary thing. So a planet was born that was sort of mechanized, and the Transformers evolved from that. But then in the sort of mid to late 80s, the UK comic, which really took the storylines and ran with it, they came up with this idea of there being two agents of order and chaos, light and dark, from the past that had existed light years ago. One of them was Primus, who was the god of light, the good guy. The other guy was Unicron, who was kind of his evil twin, and they battled for centuries and centuries. And after battling for centuries and centuries, each ended up taking on the form of a planet. Primus became sort of the giver of life, and he brought the Transformers into the world and gave life to them in the universe. Unicron became this sort of bringer of death. And then in 1980, this was all written following the 1986 animated movie. So Unicron appeared in the 1986 animated movie, and then Simon Furman, who was writing for the UK comic at the time, came up with this whole backstory. And this is really kind of the backstory that most people are the happiest with, and that's what people tend to go with. It works quite well. There's a dark and a light. Obviously that's very similar to a lot of other franchises, but there's a dark and a light, and they both manifest in planets, one of them being Cybertron, one of them being Unicron, and one day you hope those two worlds will collide figuratively and literally. And obviously Unicron is a planet that turns into a giant monster robot, which is great, and you really want to see a giant Unicron floating through space and tearing into a planet. The idea of seeing that in a film to a Transformers fan is huge. Like, I'd love to see that. There is a third origin, which is that the Transformers were created by the Quintessons. So the Quintessons were also in the 1986 movie. There is no Quintessa. Quintessa is the name of the planet that the Quintessons are from. So what they've done is they've sort of bastardized a few ideas and sort of ruined all of them. Whereas actually they had a great idea in the sort of dark and light thing that they could have used for this anyway. But they didn't. So I don't know if anybody saw this piece of news. Apparently Lorenzo di Bonaventura, who's a producer on this, has come out and said that the character of Quintessa is probably a human, and that means that she ironically created the Transformers, and a human created the Transformers. So we've already got this fucking weird, fucked up timeline, and now the producer of the film is saying that the Transformers were created by humans and sent to the planet Earth at a time before humans existed. So why overcomplicate? Why have we got to this point where things are so overcomplicated that more interesting things in this universe now can't be used because they're all ruined? Like, it's everything's so all over the place that nothing good about this universe can ever come out because everything's been fucked. Michael Bay has fucked this all up.
Yeah.
It's because he's not concerned with story. Simple as that.
No, he's ruined it for everybody else. It's almost like it's felt a little bit like they've dragged him back to these films. Certainly on. I know he seemed sort of. There was this uncertainty that he was going to do the fourth one at some point, and then it's like, no, he's back and we're rebooting it. Except we're not really. He's just going to come back and ruin more stuff. And it's just there's a lack of respect for the mythology that these films are from, which is fine. He doesn't want to read up on the films that he's making. He just wants to do whatever. But when you just make things up on the fly instead, then you just make it feel more nonsensical, and it makes it more difficult to make a coherent universe out of it later. So instead, what you end up having to do is just get one new source of power for every film that's vaguely connected to the Transformers origin. Everybody runs around chasing it about for some reason, and then Prime has a speech at the end about what he's learned and what he's going to do next. And then what he does next is exactly the same thing that he did in the last film, which is chasing around some random source of power. It's just a mess, like a real fucking mess. So that's off my chest now, anyway.
No, that's fair. That Lorenzo de Bonaventura quote is fucking mental. I hadn't heard that. I don't know. I mean, well, it's going to be interesting because the film's not done that well so far. Like it's going to do fine, but it does feel like the air's coming out of the balloon somewhat. And I do wonder if they might have a little bit of a course correction now. Just because even that like mid-credits tease where it's like Quintessa in human form. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, is anyone particularly interested in seeing where that goes? I don't particularly think so.
Because Unicron is the planet Earth, so we're never going to get to see him. We can't, otherwise the planet's dead. We can never see Unicron. It's impossible for us to see Unicron.
Unless those horns all like spin out and form a big Unicron above the Earth or something like that. Which anything wouldn't put it past this.
Well, that's not it's not going to be. We're not going to get to see the planet Unicron turn into the robot Unicron. It's just.
Unless everybody moves to Cybertron.
Yeah.
And let's face it, these films don't give a fuck about human casualties.
No. So I mean, but it's that thing. Michael Bay isn't averse to Googling Transformers, looking for the first things that come up, and then introducing words into this universe that relate to them. So names of characters like Hot Rod. Oh, there's a character called Hot Rod, and then just do what the fuck you want with him. The Cogman, which I'm just going to pronounce as Cogman, just to illustrate what a fucking ridiculous name that is, that must have taken all of 3 seconds to come up with. Cogman is referred to as a headmaster at one point. Now, a headmaster is a small robot that transforms into the head of another robot. Well, actually, no, it's a human inside a sort of transformer body thing that's a human from another planet called Nebulon, but that doesn't matter. And transforms into the head of a much bigger robot so that robot is then more agile and great at fighting and stuff like that. But we've already established that although this character of Cogman is some sort of robot butler, he's not really anything to do with being a headmaster. It's not referenced, so it's just another thing that's just been stuck in there for no reason and not elaborated on, and it doesn't really feel like we're going to get to see headmasters. So we're just going to see more Cogman in the future. I don't know. So yeah, I'm more annoyed that I'm less annoyed with the film because I didn't have the worst time watching it, despite the fact that it made zero sense. I'm more just annoyed that this is a franchise that's now been established, but all the toys in the box have been broken. So I can't see what's left unless they literally rip it up and start again and use this Bumblebee movie to reset the universe and go, you know what, we're going to do an 80s movie. And this is about how, because there is actually a really nice set of stories actually that do that, where there's one, I can't remember the name of it now, but there's one where the Transformers have been around for millions of years, because they have in the comics. The Ark crashed millions of years ago, and the Transformers have been here, and then they wake up in the 1980s. But there is a couple of interesting stories where you get to see pockets of them, or a pocket of them, wake up in the middle of like the railroad era. So they're almost in like a steampunk kind of universe, and you get to see them transforming into trains and a sort of time of sort of booming industry and stuff like that. So there are options to just have it so that we can just have the Transformers pop up in different eras and stuff like that, much in the way that maybe Wonder Woman will. But they're not going to be able to do that with this current timeline. I mean, clearly that's what they're going for with this ridiculous idea that the Transformers have always been here, but we managed to keep it quiet. So obviously that's what they're going for, but it's just not. It's not going to work with these characters. I just can't see it working.
Well, that's a downer.
Yeah.
So
it's good to be back, guys. Good to be back.
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely not shit for Noel there.
Yeah. Do you know what? Like, it's not as a film. It just as
Don't you
a
fucking
film.
dare give it touching cloth or anything now.
No.
Man.
But as a film, I didn't hate my time with it while I was sat in the seat watching it. It was only afterwards that you start to go, what was that all about, and what is the knock-on effect of that now? And that's what's so frustrating about it.
Mark, how are you feeling?
Me, I'm touching cloth with it, to be honest. I'm not quite at shit, but I'm not definitely not shit because it is a little bit shit. But I'm touching cloth. I'm happy with him touching cloth with it.
Definitely not shit. I'm sorry.
I am.
Wow.
Well done. Go on.
Will you watch it again?
I would be happy to watch bits again. I enjoyed my time enough with it. I don't feel like I wasted 2.5 hours. I feel like I wasted a solid half hour, 45 minutes. But I had fun with quite a bit of it. Also, another rather amazing line. Early on when the kid says to Cade Yeager, there's a reward out for you. And Mark Wahlberg's just like,
Yes.
oh yeah? How would you like a big punch in the face?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah? Would you like a big punch in the face?
But it's like the way he says it. It is like even though he like say hi to your mother for me. You know, it's almost like it's like that.
It's a bit like he's doing like his character from The Other Guys or his character from Daddy's Home or something. That sort of
the mock enthusiasm with like the biting comment in there. I just remembered that line. It fucking tickled the shit out of me at the time.
It is actually.
Yeah. But so yeah, definitely not shit. I'm feeling better about definitely not shit now. I remembered that line though.
I'm almost tempted to put it as definitely not shit just from remembering that line. Our audience vote, definitely not shit 14%, touching cloth 0%, and shit 86%.
Fair enough. The thing is, I'm not going to begrudge it. And if you're with what Noel was saying there, if you're a fan of the backstory, this is the kind of thing that must fucking infuriate you.
Well, it's fucked. It's absolutely fucked, isn't it?
Yeah, and I respect your opinion on that, man. That's the thing. So no, absolutely fair enough. But I had a decent enough time. I will say though, the aspect ratio changing was fucking.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
Like the fact that with the Dark Knight, say they did it with the Dark Knight on Blu-ray. But it's sequences.
Mm.
The Dark Knight Rises was a little bit more like you'd get a 10-second scene shot in IMAX and then you'd be back to like normal, and that was a bit weird. But this is literally one shot is in scope, the next one is in IMAX framing, and then the next shot is back to scope again or something like that. It's... The visual vocabulary of it is just the worst.
Do we have a reason for it? Is there a reason for it?
Because, the thing is, there are 3 different aspect ratios going on, and I don't understand it. Because, at least in my screening, you've got shots that have massive black bars at the top and bottom. You had shots where there were little black bars at the top and bottom, like quite small, and then shots where there are no black bars at the top and bottom. So a lot of it was filmed with IMAX cameras, but it's weird that it seems like, literally, you'll have a shot of one person talking, and it's not
conversations.
filmed with IMAX cameras. Yeah. Like, how the fuck does that happen?
Yeah. It like... It can't possibly be, but it just feels like they picked up the wrong camera when they shot the other half of the conversation.
It's like they did one half.
That's what it does feel like.
Yeah,
they did one half of it with the IMAX cameras, and then they did and then like they had to stand in while the other person was talking. They filmed it with the other cameras.
Yeah. What possible benefit would I have from pointing an IMAX camera at someone who's, you know, at shoulder length or popping out the side of a car. I think at one point there's somebody talking to, like, why would you shoot that in IMAX if you've got, you know, these things aren't cheap to run and the film is expensive, and why wouldn't you just save that for the bits that needed it? Or the sequences, like you say, and with that Christopher Nolan's used IMAX for, it's a sequence. It's the big
set piece.
It's the big set pieces. Yeah.
You'll be glad to know,
not one
guys,
half of a conversation.
You'll be glad to know, guys, there is an extended version coming out of the last night on the Blu-ray that is 3 hours and 10 minutes long.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
What's that from? I want to look that up.
It's already listed on the IMDb runtimes. 149 minutes
That
cinematic.
There's no
3 hours,
that can
9
be
minutes Blu-ray extended edition.
There's no way that can be right. How the hell does he do that? That can't be right.
There was extended editions of 2 and 3, I think.
But not like that's
40 minutes.
There's no way.
Well, it won't surprise me.
But that's like a bloody Lord of the Rings extended edition, though.
And this is Michael Bay.
Yeah, 189 Blu-ray extended edition. Just.
Do you know what? I'm half tempted to fucking watch that just to see what else is there.
I am.
Fuck me.
Yeah. That road is where madness lies.
Right.
So yeah.
No, I need some. That
Some
can't be
joy.
right. That feels like someone's. Oh fuck me! No, it is. There's Blu-ray cover art of it. Extended cut. 40 minutes of never seen before footage. More story, more action. Even though there are then people commenting on this Blu-ray art saying that it's fake. So maybe IMDb have kind of picked up on this and then just listed that.
Well, Transformers Last Edition, limited edition steelbook. It's on HMV.
Does it have the like 40
The
minutes?
runtime, product details. Let's have a look. No, it doesn't. But it is listed exactly as. Oh, hang on a minute. No, that's not it. That's not it. No, that's just the HMV exclusive.
I would be tempted to bet some money right now that that's not true. There's no fucking way they're coming out with an over 3 hour cut of this.
No, the only pre-order version I'm coming up with is the 149 minute version on German Amazon.
Like I just know. Like why I don't get no. Just no.
I kind of want it to be true.
Oh my god, why though? Why would you want that to be true?
Just for simply for shits and giggles.
No, you don't know.
Because I think it'd be funny.
You don't want it to be true.
I genuinely really do.
You don't want it to be true.
I'll watch it.
Fuck me. Even oh god, I'm the person who's watched fucking Batman vs Superman like 12 times. So what?
Yeah.
I just know. Just fucking. Right, we've talked about, like, Christ, I'm the one who liked it the most, and I've had enough of talking about Transformers the last night, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, there's a whole raft of things in this film that I haven't even got the energy to talk about. They piss me off so much. So, like, I don't want to talk about it, but Bumblebee's voice box is just like there's so many things like that. There's a long list of things like that in this film that are just that don't make sense, and you just kind of go, fucking hell.
Fuck, man. I just know. That's all I can say. I'm like a broken record. Right, no. Moving on. Noel, would you like to regale us with what you've been watching, and then after that, if you want to go, you're welcome to. You're welcome
You're
to hang
free
around,
to leave. Okay, well, what have I been watching? Right, well, Transformers 4 is what I've been...
Yeah.
I watched that as well.
So did I.
I think we all did. But yeah, it's I won't talk about that unless you have anything to talk about with it, Mark.
I kind of enjoyed it in a way, as I enjoyed the fact that I was sat eating my breakfast on my day off, watching it there, and I could just kind of let it kind of waft over me in that sense of, it's a Mark Wahlberg action movie. It's a little bit silly. He keeps getting angry with that guy. I was fine with it. It's way too long.
Shocker.
It's so long.
Apart from that, the only other thing that I've watched is I rewatched Iron Man 3 the other night, which is still, or I should say is now for me, the weakest of the Iron Man films, definitely. I've grown to like Iron Man 2 quite a lot, actually, over the years. I didn't like it at first because it was a disappointment in many respects. I think it's a bit clunky at times, and it's bogged down in a lot of things that it doesn't necessarily need to be bogged down in. But enough time has passed now with Iron Man 2 where I can watch it and just enjoy it. Iron Man 3 is just barely an Iron Man film. I think it's much more of a Shane Black, Robert Downey Jr. film. And there's a lot of things in it that just don't deliver on the character that much. The bad guy's weak as well. The thing that the bad guy is peddling is weak, despite being sort of, extremist, being a kind of a quite beloved sort of storyline. I don't really think it's done justice here. And yeah, Guy Pearce's bad guy in it is just, he starts off a little bit silly. His arc is pretty much Edward Nygma from Batman Forever. And it's a bit daft. So I don't hate it as much as I did, but it still doesn't, it's the weakest of the three for me. That's about it. That's all I've watched, really. We continue to watch what's it called? The Handmaid's Tale as well. That's going down quite well in our house at the moment. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's very dark in moments. I mean, do you know much about the storyline, basically, or
very little?
Yeah.
There's virtually nothing.
It's well worth watching because it's kind of a post-apocalyptic kind of thing, but it feels like it's set in the past or in a sort of part of almost Quaker America or something like that, because basically what's happened, there's a little bit of Children of Men in there. In terms of post-apocalyptic, it's in sort of the Children of Men territory. So women are second-class citizens, basically, because a lot of them can't get pregnant, and the ones who can get pregnant are sort of assigned to rich families to basically be slabs of meat that the lords of the manor have sex with, and maybe they get pregnant, maybe they don't, and they're all kind of abused and stuff as a result. So it's quite dark material, but it is really, really good. It's I think we're on episode 4 at the moment, but I think the whole thing is out there at this point. It's well worth watch. It's really good looking as well. It's really stylishly put together. So recommend. Yeah.
Nice.
But Twin Peaks, I never got round to my rewatch of the first season or the second season, so I've decided that I will wait. I'll rewatch season 1 and 2 in my own damn time, and then I'll get through to season 3 once all of the furore has died down a little bit. So with that, I will leave you to much happier discussions about Twin Peaks.
Well, thank you very much, Noel, for joining us.
I'm sorry for bringing you down, guys. You know.
No, it's okay. I mean, like, seriously, the historical context on Transformers. I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting that, but it was good. And hopefully, it's kind of expressed some frustrations that otherwise wouldn't have been voiced on the show that other people have maybe been experiencing as well. I'd say.
Yeah. Well, it's made me feel better anyway. So
good man.
Right, have a good show, guys. Speak to you soon.
Cheers, Noel. Nice one.
Bye
bye. So, thank you very much to Noel. As always, he'll be back in a couple of weeks for Spider-Man: Homecoming. And sorry, I just got a bit put off there. Apparently, MGM are considering doing a James Bond cinematic universe, and now I just want to kill myself.
How? Just why? Bond is enough.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Okay. Let's read this. Jeff Snyder from the tracking board was the source of this scoop. He said on social media that the Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson are looking at options. Christ. Right. Fair enough. Fucking whatever. God, hopefully we won't have to talk about that in the future. But Mark, what else have you been watching, sir?
Not a great deal, to be honest. I rewatched Fool's Gold, which I think I've seen far too many times, but it's entertaining enough. The Kate Hudson and Matthew McConaughey movie from that kind of little period where McConaughey was doing a lot of kind of action and romantic comedies, which was a weird kind of mixture for him to do, but they were all, fairly entertaining, so I enjoyed that. I also I watched What Happens in Vegas for some reason. I have no idea why. I think I can say why is because it's only 95 minutes long, and we were scrolling through me and Bex on Netflix for something to watch that was about sort of 90 odd minutes long, and came across that and went, okay, why not? Let's give it a go. Have you ever seen What Happens in Vegas? I'm going to guess not, but I better just check. I'm going to take that as a no.
What Happens in Vegas? I'm genuinely trying to remember. I might have tested a print back in the day.
Cameron Diaz and Ashton Kutcher, yes.
Yeah. I definitely remember projecting it.
It's a weird film. In the sense that I get the idea behind it. For anyone who hasn't seen it or doesn't know what it's about, is you've got Cameron Diaz plays a Wall Street trader who is a complete control freak and goes to Vegas because her partner, played by Jason Sudeikis, has dumped her because he says that she's no fun anymore, and so she goes to Vegas to kind of have a blowout weekend. Ashton Kutcher plays a guy who's too much fun and has just been fired by his dad from his dad's company because he's too much fun and he's always trying to have fun. So you've got those two worlds collide. They get drunk, get married, and then Ashton Kutcher wins $3 million on a slot machine. So a judge, because they're after they woke up in the morning, decided they want to get an annulment. A judge tells them that they can get an annulment, but what he'll do if they do that is he'll tie up the $3 million in so much legal red tape that they'll never see it. So essentially, the judge, which I'm sure isn't legal, forces them to 6 months of marriage. So they have to live together as husband and wife. That's not the weirdest bit of it. There's a bit where essentially Ashton Kutcher and Rob Corddry, their two characters are thrown together with Cameron Diaz and Lake Bell's characters because they accidentally get given the same hotel room. And so you've got this weird scene where Rob Corddry opens the door to go into the bathroom in the hotel room where Leia Bell and Cameron Diaz are getting ready to go out. And then everyone just starts screaming at each other for a good 3 or 4 minutes as Cameron Diaz and Leia Bell start attacking Ashton Kutcher and Rob Corddry whilst just screaming at them. But there's this weird music going on in the background and the camera's just shaking around loads. And you're watching it going, this is fucking terrible. Like it's new level bad shit. And the movie doesn't get much better throughout. It's just a little bit crap, really. I didn't hate it, but it is just a bit crap. But then there's it's a fucking, you've got Cameron Diaz, Ashton Kutcher, Rob Corddry's in there, Leia Bell, Treat Williams in it, Daenerys Farriner's in it as well, who plays a guy called Richard Banger, who Ashton Kutcher finds it hilarious to call him Dick Banger. Why not?
Right.
Yeah. That was that. So, the only other thing I've really watched, which I want to talk about because it's TV, even though we're just about to talk about a TV show in a few minutes, is the Ranch. The weird thing is with the Ranch on Netflix, it's done in parts. So it is actually kind of seasons, but there's a season 1, part 1, part 2, and now there's a season 2, part 1, and part 2 is getting released later on in the year. So that dropped last Thursday, I think. So I've racked through. I promised I wasn't going to binge watch it this time, but I've racked through the first part of season 2 in like a week.
Nice.
It's only a half an hour show, so it's only like 5 hours of that. It's only like 2 and a bit movies or one Transformers movie. So yeah, but yeah, really, it's a really good series. Actually, it got a little bit heavier in this one. It's not just as many dick jokes. There's still a dick jokes there, but in the start of this season, there's a bit that deals with people's feelings on whether or not they're pro-abortion or not, and it's kind of dealt with really, really well. And you just don't expect it from this series for them to deal with that because of the way the show's set in sort of Colorado, which is like deep, Republican area, Bible Belt, set in a small little ranch in town, and then they deal with this big sort of subject of the time, and it's dealt with really quite well, and you can tell it's Kutcher doing something that's quite sort of close to his heart, I suppose.
Yeah, no, I'll be honest, I watch fuck all TV. I think there's probably other stuff I would need to see over it, if I'm honest.
It's one of those, yeah. The thing is, this is probably the only Netflix series I've ever got on with. I've tried other ones, I've just not got on with them. So this is the only one that I actually actively watch. So that and Master of None, of course, which I've got on with quite well. They're the only two that I've really kind of got on with, really.
Okay.
Tried the other ones, but I've never got on with the other ones. But that was it. Yeah, that's what I've watched. So what have you been watching this week?
Oh fuck! I've got a shitload.
Nice.
I'll try and be as quick as I can. Right, in order of watching, The Founder,
Oh yes.
Very
much looking forward to this.
Michael Keaton film. Interesting portrayal of a horrible bastard. But the film can't decide whether he's a horrible bastard or an inspiration. And it's kind of messy, to be honest. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it when you see it.
Well, I'm going to watch this week, so.
Okay, all right, cool. Why Him, which I thought was all right, actually. Made me laugh enough. Not amazing, but solid James Franco work. That's about all I have to say.
One of those.
Yeah. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. I've seen Baby Driver, and it's still his best film. We'll talk about Baby Driver next week. The Salvation, which is a Mads Mikkelsen western, where Essentially, he is an immigrant who comes over to America with his brother. He sends for his wife and son some years later. Spoiler for the opening 15 minutes, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
They get in a stagecoach to go to their home, and there are a couple of guys in there who are no good. They are wrong-uns. Mads Mikkelsen gets pushed out of the stagecoach. He goes running after it, and by the time he's back, his wife and kid are dead. He kills the guys, and it turns out that one of them is the brother of the local area's big bad guy, played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan. And essentially, it turns into Jeffrey Dean Morgan essentially torturing the townspeople until Mads Mikkelsen reveals himself, and it's pretty good. It's not amazing, but it's very, very stripped down. It kind of feels like it had a low budget, and which is fine, but it's also around about an hour and a half long, and it gets in and out and does its thing. Mads Mikkelsen very good, Jeffrey Dean Morgan very good, solid dickhead role for Jonathan Pryce, worth 90 minutes of your time. Very, very good eye stabbing as well.
Yeah, it's Christian Levering, isn't it?
Yeah.
Directing it. He was one of the Dogma 95 guys, wasn't he?
Yeah.
That could explain the stripped downness of it all.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's it's worth a go actually. Not as worth a go, disappointingly, Prevenge, which is Alice Lowe of Sightseers, her directorial debut as well as writing it. So basically, she was pregnant in real life, and she plays a pregnant woman whose unborn child is telling her to kill people. First half of the film, very, very, very repetitive. She goes somewhere, starts up a conversation with someone, it gets more and more sinister, and then she kills them. In a variety of different settings. Gets more interesting in its second half. Has some more stuff to say, but I wasn't a fan. She's got a good sense for mood and atmosphere. I would say. It's just, I think the film's budget meant that there was only so much they could actually do in terms of budget, and I think it affects it. I think she wrote the screenplay knowing that in mind as well, and it doesn't, apart from the central thrust of the plot, it doesn't feel like it really pushes the boat out in terms of invention all that much. And I was a little let down by it, to be honest. Fireman Sam Alien Alert, which I took Lottie to. Literally,
Is this a cinema film?
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Literally took Lottie to see it in Cineworld last Sunday. So yeah, David Tennant's in it.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, it's just what? I will admit there was a couple of times I laughed. There's some solid Aliens references in there. Just one of the people in it saying they mostly come out at night. Mostly, it was fine, I'll take that. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't take a lot to make me laugh sometimes. It was 63 minutes long. You can't really hate something that's that short. But, I mean, it was shit. I don't know why the fuck it was in the cinema, but yeah, there you go. I rewatched Inside Out, which fucking destroys me. The last 10 minutes of that film I can't fucking bear. I rewatched Hackers.
Oh yeah.
Because
how was that hold up?
Well, it's interesting. It's on Netflix, and Ian Softly, the way he presents things and the visual dynamism in it is pretty great. the sequences where it's going through the net and stuff like that, like visually, it's really interesting. Complete fucking bobbins, but I like it, like how quickly it's going. And early on, where Johnny Lee Miller's character is getting introduced to certain things, it's like a cut in between like him and like his mind's eye and like TV images and stuff. Like when he sees Angelina Jolie and it's like images of like kind of sexy stuff, and you know, I mean, it's not groundbreaking or anything, but it makes it interesting. But it's this odd fucking mix of like high school comedy drama and heist film, which only kind of works up to a point. I mean, Fisher Stevens as the bad guy and like teaming up with a blonde Lorraine Bracco is very, very odd. And I mean, the depiction of the internet is insane. And I don't know, like, there's this whole thing about like the most popular passwords, and it's either like secret, God, or sex. And like it's the painting of hacking being this like cool, like almost like skateboarding of the like skateboarding if you weren't physically capable or something like that. You know, it's you can imagine Christian Slater being the lead in this, apart from instead of Johnny Lee Miller, if it was like 3 or 4 years earlier.
Yeah. After all, this is Christian Slater who made Gleaming the Cube.
Because Gleaming the Cube was in my mind's eye. You know,
Gleaming the Cube Gleaming the Cube's a good movie.
I know. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind Gleaming the Cube. I don't mind Hackers either. I have fun with it.
Good.
Yeah, no. I mean, it just, as I said on Letterboxd, it feels like it had relevance for maybe 6 months before it came out, and only for about an hour at that time. Like it feels like literally the guy who wrote it between 25 to 4 and 25 to 5 on Friday the 14th of July 1993.
Well, you'll be glad to know that he also wrote The Rage Carrie 2.
That's not surprising. Good on him.
And that's it.
Wow. Those are 2 interesting credits. Hackers, not bad. Angelina Jolie, quite fetching. And finally, this isn't very much like Hackers. I Am Not Your Negro. Actually, no, not finally. I've got this, and I've got something completely different. I Am Not Your Negro. It's on Amazon Prime. I believe it was nominated for Best Documentary at the Oscars this past ceremony.
I think it was, yeah.
So narrated by Samuel L. Jackson, and he basically, it's him basically playing this gentleman by the name of James Baldwin, who was an author and academic in the 60s, who knew Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and another gentleman who, for the life of me, I can't remember his name, and I feel awful for it. So let me just grab it. Actually, I'll just be a second. That's it, Medgar Evers. Who were basically 3 guys very much in the civil equality game, but from kind of differing perspectives. I mean, obviously in the case of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and it's basically Samuel L. Jackson reading from a manuscript of an unfinished book of his, along with TV interviews, and there's like a Cambridge University lecture he did that there's footage of as well, and it's essentially looking at how America was set up to essentially oppose the black man, and still, or black people in general, and still is to this day. And the thing that's interesting about it is Baldwin died in 1987, but frankly, the stuff he's saying could well just apply to America today. Even though there's been so much work in it. you know, I mean, Trayvon Martin and the the riots that happened over the last few years. It's in Ferguson. That's what I was thinking of in Ferguson. And so you've got older footage, and talking about Martin Luther King and Medgar Evers and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, but also footage of way more contemporary stuff, and it is fucking eerie that he's talking about all this stuff in this unfinished manuscript, but it just like he was doing this 30 years ago, and it's like now, and it's like barely anything's fucking changed, despite the fact that we've had a black president and whatnot. And it's interesting. There's footage from this lecture that he gave in Cambridge. Where he was saying, in 50, was it Bobby Kennedy said in 40 years' time we may well have a black president, and James Baldwin saying that the white man did not found America. He's got as much right to say that, say about who could be president, who could be not, as a black person. And here he is saying, if you're very good in the next 40 years, you can have a black president. Just almost like it's a fucking prize. And it's again, it's prescient because that kind of is what happened. Maybe not like prize, but 40 years later. And it's, even though then again, I mean, it's documentary filmmaking. There's a lot of stuff that he probably said that didn't come true, but they picked the kind of stuff that actually kind of did to maybe make a point. But the fact that he said it in the first place, it has some merit in being there. But
exactly,
But it's really, really powerful stuff. Really upsetting. It shook me quite a bit actually. But it feels. The thing is, it doesn't feel like it's tub thumping. It feels angry, but it's not shouting at you. And it feels sad, but it doesn't want you to cry. It just wants you to think. And I respect that. And I think it's a very, very, very powerful piece of work. And I it's weird to say you enjoyed your time with it, but I had a nourishing time with it. It's not an easy watch. You've got to be in a certain frame of mind. But if you are, I think it will grab you. It's really worth a go.
It's one of those, that I've been looking at and wanting to watch, but I think, certainly got to be in the right kind of like place to watch it. I think.
Yeah, you fucking have to be. But yeah, and lastly, I watched Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Which I'd never seen this before. At least if I hadn't remembered it. And hot take, that film is really slow.
Yeah, it is.
Like, it's an hour and 20 minutes long, and fuck all happens. And it takes a really long time to get there. The animation is amazing. The whole kind of like just basing it on the movements of real people and that kind of thing. I mean, it's easy to see why animation kind of got more stylized, because it's like that looked like a ball ache to do. I mean, also Snow White's voice I found rather grating. Like her singing voice, the recording of it is not great. So it kind of feels like you're listening to a really shit recording while you're watching an HD copy of this film that looks really nice. But yeah, so also Lottie watched the first 40 minutes or so, and she was fucking loving it. The dwarfs, man, she was pissing herself. I'm really glad she fell asleep and didn't watch the rest, because that thing gets eerie.
Dark.
Yeah, man. Really, just some of the anyway. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, hot take, it's slow. And that's me done.
Cool.
Okay, I don't think we got any mail this week. Have we got any Twitter questions?
We don't this week, no.
Motherfuckers. Alright, well, we've been detaining people long enough, I think. So
peaks? We're not doing peaks?
Oh, fuck me sideways. Of course we're doing peaks. Yeah, what the fuck did you think of that, man?
It was incredible to watch. It was certainly when you go from how good Seven was, and Seven was fantastic. It was peaks. When you go from that, and then you shift towards this, which is incredibly. It's not brave because I don't think you can associate that with something like Lynch, because everything he does has a kind of brevity to it. It's just so uncompromising. He's making it for it's definitely proof that you can kind of get the idea that maybe when there was issues around it, because what people got to remember, you look back on, is from the announcement that there was going to be a season 3 of Twin Peaks to us actually getting it, it was a bumpy road, and Lynch left it for a period of time, citing kind of like he wanted to do it the way that he wanted to do it. Budget was brought into that and things like that. But it could have been a little bit. It very much. This is everything we're going to get. All 18 parts and 20 hours or whatever it's going to equate to, is exactly what Frost and Lynch want to show you. There's no. We prefer if you didn't do this. It's an absolute. It's an experiment from a studio like Showtime, where they've given him and given them absolute sort of creative freedom, and this proves it. It's a headfuck that opens up so much of the actual universe and the world itself to kind of go, right, we're going to delve a lot fucking deeper into the kind of mysticism and the surrealness and the supernatural elements of this whole story. And it feels a little bit like maybe within the first sort of 6 parts, we've had some of the strands there that are going to get sort of tied up with this, and this is where we're going now. And it feels very much like it's got into its fucking groove and gone, right, here you fucking go. And at the end of it, I was very much like, I got some of that, I didn't get some of that, I think I was supposed to get some of that, and I absolutely think I wasn't supposed to get some of that. But in terms of for an hour's worth of TV, I don't think we've ever seen anything like it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's absolutely fair enough. I mean, it's so weird that so much of it is so strange, and yet it does, if you think about it, it does give you quite a lot of, at least I think, quite a lot of interesting backstory stuff. Like, is it not basically saying that Bob was created by, like, almost like the evil of the atom bomb?
Yeah, that was it. It was essentially that was it. It was Bob was created. That evil was born out of the first atomic bomb detonation, and then you had this spiritual thing is sending goodness to kind of try and counteract it. Fucking hell! It was something to watch.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I mean, like you say, as an hour of TV, I mean, it's fucking incredible. And I mean, I don't know, just the placing of it, like you say, after like episode 7 being pretty straight, and then you get just the intention of Lynch is fascinating. I mean, I suppose from a plotty point of view, we find out that, like, essentially, it looks like Philip Jeffries had ordered the hit on Bad Cooper.
Yes.
So that's of interest. Please let us have some Bowie.
Be nice, wouldn't it? The thing is, I've heard that he was the character was going to be there, but there's been no reports of he was supposed to be in it, but there's also been no reports of categorically saying, look, he's not going to be in it.
The thing is, I think they could have easily have filmed some stuff and kept it secret.
Yes.
It's like not a lot of leak. this is not a leaky ship.
Well, no, it's not, because the thing is, the only people who were given, everybody was given their scenes. They're not given anything else in the script, with the exception, apparently, of Cal McLaughlin, who was given and gone through the whole fucking thing, went through the whole thing with him. Of this is what it is, this is what everything is. Everybody else has just got their fucking scenes. And would it surprise you if Lynch has just filmed something with that was how they got what's his name? He played Doc Hayward.
Fuck. What is his name?
Oh, it's gonna put this show now. But yeah, Doc Hayward. That literally is. They just recorded a Skype conversation with him.
Yeah.
Warren Frost.
Oh, that's him. Yeah, of course, Mark Frost dad, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
They just recorded literally just recorded a Skype conversation with him, and that's how they got it in there, because they knew he didn't have long.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise you. I think it's very interesting they're pulling him in. I think it's the fact that you've got the core sort of score running through large swathes of Part 8 is it is lifted from Fire Walk with Me, and the kind of the ending of Fire Walk with Me, where you've got Laura laughing and crying, smiling in the Black Lodge there, and then you've got that soundtrack playing in this is quite kind of prescient for that, and it makes sense, and it did get me going. Oh fucking hell! That is the spine tingling. Oh fucking hell, of what I wanted from this series, and the fact that for me, Part 2 was fantastic. The third episode, I think it counts as,
Sure,
was fantastic. But I think Parts 7 and 8 for me have been the highlights of it. I think that's really fucking good. The fact that they're one after another, and they're so different as well. They're so different, but they both feel like they're part of Twin Peaks.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. I mean, about the whole it being part of Twin Peaks. I mean, I suppose in a way, sure, but I don't know how this particular episode is more a part of Twin Peaks than some of the previous episodes.
I think it's because it's very much dealing with pre-existing sort of threads that exist in the Twin Peaks universe. It's not trying to incorporate new threads. So the Philip Jeffries thing exists within the Twin Peaks universe, and the doppelganger exists within it from there, and then you've got the Laura bit coming into it. Yeah, you've got the ending, end sort of 10-15 minutes, which are very much taken away. But I get a feeling like they're trying to create a story. They're trying to give you, this is the formation of the Black Lodge. This is where these things come from.
Yeah. I don't think I'm ever going to watch the bit with the bug in the mouth ever again.
Oh, yeah. It was... The thing is, it's happening. As soon as you saw the open window and that bug crawling, you thought, that bug's going to crawl into her mouth.
It was just the fact that it seemed to make her mouth open as well that really weirded me out. Like, like how invasive that is. That it's not only she's asleep, but it's not even fucking waiting for her to open her mouth. It's just going, right, you're going to open your mouth. And oh my fucking hell! Just
it was icky and creepy.
It's like and what does it mean?
Yeah, where's it going to go?
Like Christ!
Who is that girl?
Well, scuttlebutt is that it's Laura's mum, but I don't know how that makes sense.
Could be.
And like the boy was Leland, but I don't, age wise for I suppose Ray Wise wasn't that old when. Yeah, I don't know. I just fuck. I don't want to think about that bit anymore.
Age-wise, that'd fit actually.
I suppose it might do actually. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, it just the last 15 minutes was just a very very good short horror film.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes,
got a
it was.
light, and this is the water, this is the well.
Yeah.
I just, yeah, fuck, I don't even know what to say. Actually, like the fucking image of that guy with like what is it, engine oil on his face or something?
He's a minor.
Minor. Okay, that makes sense. Like that is just, it's a really 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 creepy image, like the whites of the eyes and the black, you know, because you got it that shot in the first episode as well, the guy in the jail cell.
Oh yes, yeah.
And it's just all black and then just white eyes. Very 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 creepy imagery. Like it was a combination of things that personally weird me out. I've got a thing about like dead white eyes and like black pupils. I don't know what it is, but I don't know, like the soullessness of it really weirds me out, and that's very much what I got from this. And fuck. For a second as well, I thought it was fucking Harry Dean Stanton in makeup, and it was like, that guy's way too old to be doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, what do you think for next week? Do you think it's going to be back to a bit more standard, or do you think we're going to get more of this?
I think it'll go back to standard.
Yeah, so do I.
I think we'll have a standard, and then we'll have a. I think we'll have that coming into Twin Peaks. I think we'll go back to a standard where it'll start to bring more of it. I do think that what's happening is it's all heading and it's all going to converge on Twin Peaks very soon.
Nice.
And I think we'll probably get at least the last 6 to 8 parts will be pretty much predominantly set in familiar Peaks territory. Mm-hmm. So either in Twin Peaks or in the Black Lodge, but definitely not flitting around all over the US.
It would be nice, and I think you're right.
I also do think now that the fact that it seems like Cooper, Bad Cooper, is dead, that opens up a whole new realm of what will happen. Will we get Cooper back?
Is he like? I thought he.
I don't know.
Did he get up?
He did get up, but it's unclear whether or not he exists now in this world or some other.
Oh, that's true.
It's going to be interesting. It's the first one where it finished, and I thought, "Fuck you," that I can't continue watching it now.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's something at least. And it's not on next week because of Independence Day.
Is that correct? Ah.
Is that a thing?
No, it's not. Not.
That's shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're done. Are we done?
Yes.
Okay, so that is it. Next week, no Twin Peaks, unfortunately. But we will be a triple threat review. We're going to be doing Baby Driver.
Yep.
We're going to be doing Okja.
Yep.
And we're doing The Circle, because that's coming straight to Netflix in the UK this coming Friday. So it's going to be a triple review and whatever else we get around to. And that's going to be it for me, unless you got anything else, Mark.
No, that's it. I think we had quite a packed show there.
It was a busy one. I'm off to have some beer and, I don't know, stick a film on probably.
I am going to go and have some dinner and stick a film on.
Sweetness.
Cool. DoingTheMonkey.com, at DoingTheMonkey, at Ian Loring, at DudeFoz, at the Noel Mellor, not at Film Rant.
Yeah, which I'm never going to get used to.
No, me neither. So I'm going to let you continue because you're the one hosting this one. And I think there's going to be another episode of Damn You Football this weekend.
Oh, sweet.
Doing an update of what's happened in the transfer window, and talking the I don't know whether you know this, but every 2 years FIFA essentially get together and discuss the possibility of new laws, and what it is proposals get put forward for new laws of the game or tweaks in laws of the game, and they discuss whether or not they're valid. So there's usually 10 points put together for them, and they discuss them. Some of them are ridiculous and never get further, and they literally sit down and go, no, that's fucking stupid, and it gets tossed to one side. And some of them are fairly sensible, and so they get brought in. So, for instance, a couple of years ago, there was the one of, kickoffs. They don't necessarily have to go forward now. They can go backwards.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So there was stuff like that, and there's some interesting ones that will never get put forward, but they'll never get made to laws. But things like sin bins, which are getting trialled, and 30-minute halves, but the clock gets stopped every time the ball goes out of play, and things like that.
I think you're going to have some opinions.
I have some opinions, certainly, yes.
Nice. Right, so that is going to do it, and let's get out of this joint.
Letters.
Bye. Bye.